to the we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. How Goldenboy's current dispute with Virgil Ortiz and Rick Merrigan is starting to affect their other fighters in the stable. Oscar Collazo versus Melvin Jerusalem 2 has been tabled by Goldenboy. Not only that, fight that was supposed to go down on the undercard, Gabby Fondora's latest defense of her undisputed crown. Goldenboy's current dispute with Ortiz and his team has impacted the company's ability to renegotiate an output deal with DAZN. The conflict has put all of its targeted dates on hold until the issue between promoter and boxer is resolved, and, more importantly, DAZN plans to proceed for a desired showdown between Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. DAZN's previous desire to resume its 7+ year relationship with Goldenboy hinged on the company's ability to deliver Ortiz versus Ennis. Those plans were compromised when Goldenboy representatives learned that Ortiz's team was negotiating the fight without their involvement, at which point a Nevada judge granted Goldenboy a TRO request, a temporary restraining order, inhibiting Virgil Ortiz's movements until such a time as a reconciliation can be reached, but it's only temporary, and it's seen a March 14th show put on hold. That planned March 14th show that has now been put on hold was expected to include undisputed flyweight champion Gabby Fondora in a mandatory title defense against Viviana Ruiz, which we talked about here on the channel. I could have swore originally it was supposed to go down this weekend on the undercard of Garcia versus Barrios, but I guess they had decided to move it, and now it's in limbo, now it's in the air. So what becomes of Gabby Fondora if Goldenboy cannot land on their feet, cannot see their output deal renewed, and they're left out there in the wilderness? Is Gabby going to be left out there with them? I don't think so. I happen to think if Gabby were to achieve free agency as a result of this dispute, she could go to Matchroom, she could go to MVP. She wouldn't be stuck in a rut, left out there in the cold to fend for herself. Gabby Fondora, unlike a lot of female fighters, is a strong finisher. She's not just fun to watch during a fight, she knows how to finish one. She racks up knockouts. Matchroom still has a robust stable of Valkyries that Gabby Fondora would be a welcome addition to that stable. MVP has fast become the flagship promoter for women boxers all around the world, that Gabby would be a welcome addition to that stable, so that if things go sideways between Goldenboy and Virgil, and Goldenboy loses their broadcast deal, Gabby's gonna be alright. She'll be okay now. This fight with Viviana Ruiz qualifies as a mandatory title defense. Viviana is her mandatory challenger, one of them. That is via the WBA. So it's not a fight that Gabby can simply ignore, skirt around, but at the same time, I think WBA will exhibit some measure and some understanding that if it doesn't happen in a timely fashion, it's not exactly Gabby Fondora's fault. I don't think they'll strip her. She should be okay, at least momentarily, though it's unfortunate that a young budding career like Gabby's is being put on hold due to matters that don't directly involve her. She has no control over. As far as the dispute between Virgil, Goldenboy, and when exactly we can expect some reconciliation, some finality to be reached, a hearing Friday to determine if Ennis versus Ortiz happens April 18th in Las Vegas per The Ring. The highly anticipated junior middleweight fight was all but set for April 18th in Las Vegas before a Nevada judge granted Ortiz, estranged promoter Goldenboy, a temporary restraining order Friday to halt the bout from proceeding. An emergency hearing is set for Friday to determine if Matchroom Boxing, Ennis's promoter, can stage the fight without Goldenboy. This comes after Ortiz filed a lawsuit against Oscar De La Hoya's company on January 16th, requesting the judge to terminate his promotional agreement on the grounds the contract is now invalid. The basis for Ortiz's suit is language in his contract that states Goldenboy must have a broadcast agreement in place at all times. Goldenboy's longtime streaming partner, DAZN, has informed the company that a renewal is contingent on the Ortiz versus Ennis fight being made. It's an interesting particular in association with this situation that behind the scenes, Ortiz was working to make the Boots fight, but without Goldenboy, though making that fight is what will determine whether or not Goldenboy stays on DAZN or not. Sources said there's hope all parties can resolve the issue ahead of Friday's hearing, and it's possible still the fight could move off the proposed April 18th date in Vegas. WrestleMania will be held that same day in Sin City. The expectation is that the judge will rule Friday or early next week. If this isn't resolved before then, whatever happens, sources said Goldenboy won't be involved with any Ortiz fight against Ennis. When I first heard that Virgil Ortiz wanted to exit his Goldenboy Promotions deal, I expected it to be to go somewhere else. I expected it to be to go to Matchroom or go to Zuffa, go to MVP, just somewhere else, away from Goldenboy. I didn't figure that they would still be trying to negotiate this fight with Boots.
I thought it was cooked.
I personally think there's too much hullabaloo about this fight that neither Ortiz or Boots have all that big a following to where this much time should be going into this. It's an all-right fight.
But it's not a mega match.
How much do you really think this is going to generate on pay-per-view in the open market when neither guy has all that big a following? That so much should be riding on this fight. Goldenboy's future on the platform, though I suppose that Goldenboy didn't do themselves any favors.
You think DAZN is a little bit too invested in this fight?
I do, but at the same time, over the years, Goldenboy didn't do themselves any favors. I've been saying it on repeat that their content offering since arriving on the platform, but losing Canelo Alvarez, it's been tepid and shallow. Most of the big moments and the big fights on the platform were brought to you by way of Matchroom, not Goldenboy, so that when DAZN has to reevaluate whether or not they want to keep doing business with Goldenboy, they didn't make it easy on themselves.
You didn't do a good enough job, and you've been on that platform the same amount of time as Matchroom.
There are no excuses to be made. All these fractured relationships with former Goldenboy fighters like Canelo and Sinicia Estrada, Jaime Munguia, now Virgil Ortiz, and don't forget about Ryan.
Because Ryan wants to leave too. Ryan recently said this upcoming fight with Mario will be his final fight of his existing Goldenboy deal.
You're not with Goldenboy?
I am currently, but after this fight, I'll be sort of a free agent.
Okay.
Sort of a free agent. Is his deal structured like Virgil's to where if Goldenboy doesn't have a broadcaster, he's free to leave?
It might be. Ryan Garcia hasn't been shy about it. He's been trying to leave Goldenboy for a while now.
So just imagine that you're DAZN, and you've been watching this play out over the years to where Goldenboy doesn't have a good relationship with any of their flagship fighters. They already lost Canelo, Sinicia Estrada, Jaime Munguia. Now they may be on the verge of losing their two remaining flagship fighters in Virgil and Ryan.
Just imagine that you're DAZN and you've been watching all of this, watching Oscar make a complete fool out of himself.
Embarrassing his company and embarrassing your platform. Remember when he took a shot at Eddie Hearn by bringing up Sky Nicholson and what's supposed to be an extramarital affair that they were having, even if they were?
Even if he fucked her, and he fucked her hard.
You don't just out them for it in public unless you want to be subject to a defamation case. So not only is Oscar a loose cannon, but he can't keep his ducks in order. He's becoming more and more of a liability.
That his content offering to the platform is not so much that he is indispensable to them. They can do without Oscar, replace him with someone else, do more MVP shows, more Misfits Pro shows.
See if you can't get something going with Top Rank that are still between broadcasters right now. There are ways to swap out Goldenboy for something else, something better. And if this really is the end,
if Goldenboy doesn't recover from this, I'm sorry to say, they brought it upon themselves.
For now, what is still one of their Golden Boys, Golden Boy fighter Ryan Garcia, says he's still with them, at least momentarily. He's fighting this weekend. I'm noticing a good number of esteemed professionals are not going with him to win the fight. Instead, going with the underdog, going with Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrios, if you don't get this done against Ryan Garcia, you a sorry-ass fighter. Ryan Garcia is straight trash. Doo-doo butter. Doo-doo butter. Yeah, Ryan, you trash. You ain't got no right hand. You take your left hand away, and it's over with. Over with. I see you be trying to spook everybody with your power. Yeah, put the body shield on. Put the body shield on. Let me try to break your guts. Yeah. And I see you be trying hard as hell.
Timothy Bradley has made his feelings crystal clear about Brian Garcia. Sounds a lot like he's going with Mario Barrios to win. Word on the street is, so is former champion Sean Porter, who's got the reigning champion winning an 8-4 decision this weekend. But if what these guys are doing is using a Rolly Romero fight as a gauge for what we're going to see on Saturday, I'm sorry to tell them, I don't think we're going to see that. I think that Rolly fought a fight.
If that's what you're going off of.
Look at who trained Rolly for that fight. It was Ishmael Salas, one of the more cerebral trainers in the sport today. And what did Rolly do? Rolly boxed him, moving and jabbing. Mario ain't gonna do that.
You're gonna trust Mario Barrios to stay out of the way of Ryan's left hook for 36 minutes? Listen, I don't have a high opinion of Ryan Garcia's boxing. I think he sucks. But I also think Mario sucks. Sucks even harder.
Drawing with a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao, going life or death with Abel Ramos. Didn't look too hot with Fabian Maidana. The fight before that Mario.
He ain't won my trust.
Ryan Garcia's fundamentals are pretty bad. I'm not saying that they're not. But Mario's ain't too good either. What Ryan does have is strength and speed. What Mario doesn't have is defense. So when you put that combination together, you can see what's about to happen. I think Ryan is back on the juice.
Yeah, that's another X factor.
We can thank the World Boxing Council that Ryan is being afforded this opportunity that he clearly doesn't deserve, because if not for them giving him a path to one of their alphabet titles, what was he gonna do? Coming off a loss to Rolly? That if he loses this one...
I don't think he's going to.
But if he does, he's fucked. If you can't win a title from Mario at 147, you can't win a title from nobody.
No one.
Beyond this fight, if he wins, Ryan is making it known he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson.
After you get this fight over,
You know, right now I'm not trying to look too far ahead, but I'm really interested in the Shakur fight. It just it gets me going, and those are the type of fights that you'll see the best out of me. So definitely, he's somebody I want to, I want to look into after this fight for sure.
There'll be a lot of excitement to that fight. It's a big money fight. Ryan Garcia is somebody that comes in there. You never know which version of him is going to show up. So if the good version of him show up, he gets spanked. If the bad version of him show up, he gets spanked. He don't stand a chance.
So the sentiment is shared and the feeling is mutual. Ryan wants to fight Shakur, and Shakur wants to fight Brian. Ryan likely wants to fight Shakur because he views Shakur through the same lens that he viewed Devin Haney in. He thinks the fighters are similar, and what he did to Devin, he can do to Shakur.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
But I happen to think Shakur Stevenson, while somewhat similar to Devin Haney in terms of their base styles, is a cut above Devin Haney. Devin, more and more to me, looks like a basic 1-2 fighter. Jab and an occasional stab, though most of the time it's a jab, then a grab.
On repeat.
Ryan is thinking to himself that Shakur Stevenson is a very similar fighter to Devin Haney, so you can do to him what you did to Devin, but I don't think so. Shakur is more fluid, at a variety of ranges, more defensible, not just on the outside, but on the inside too.
Roll, slip, catch, counter. He can do it all on the inside, and we saw that in the Williams-Zepeda fight.
What's interesting about Ryan fighting Shakur is Ryan is taller than Shakur Stevenson, nowhere near as skilled, but physically bigger, maybe even stronger.
Yeah, he's stronger.
So how many times have you seen Shakur Stevenson in there with somebody who's a bit taller than he is and physically bigger? The intrigue here is, can Shakur Stevenson's skills overcome Ryan Garcia's size?
Despite Shakur Stevenson's boring base style, you can sell this, you can, because Shakur Stevenson in his last fight did a very good gate at Madison Square Garden in tandem with Ryan Garcia, potentially winning this weekend.
You can sell Stevenson versus Garcia. This would afford Shakur Stevenson the chance to become a 6-weight world champion so soon after having become a 5-weight world champion. Because remember, we're imagining this in a scenario where Ryan Garcia actually wins on Saturday, becomes WBC champion, and subsequently defends the belt against Shakur.
Between Shakur And his old buddy Keyshawn Davis, they could really clean up 147. Shakur going after Ryan, Keyshawn going after Devin.
Do you get the impression that's why Devin all of a sudden wants to leave the welterweight division, targeting Errol Spence Jr., targeting Xander Zayas? Do you get the impression that's why so soon after having arrived at the weight, he's talking about moving up because he's running from those fighters?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Back over to Shakur and Ryan, both of which could very soon be free agents. Shakur Stevenson already is, and according to Ryan, after this weekend, he will be.
Sort of.
For the kind of money these two are going to want to face each other, who's supposed to pay for it? Who's supposed to put it together, and on what platform? You already know what I'm going to say.
Turkey!
It's got to be him, otherwise it doesn't happen. Not between two free agents who have no promotional ties to any promoter. If Turkey doesn't make it, it doesn't get made.
What if Ryan loses this weekend?
Catastrophic. You know, it's a wonder that he's here right now, coming off a loss to Rolly Romero, who he was widely favored to beat by everyone, myself included, so that he's now back.
It's only because the WBC gave him an out, gave him an opportunity. It's only because he's getting a shot at a world title. If not for that, what was he going to do? He wins that alphabet title, he's back in the mix of everything. But if he loses,
He's out of the loop. If you've reached the point where you can't make it past the Mario Barrios, the powers that be have made it very easy for you to become a world champion, and you still don't, better go into social media full time.
you might as well.
Spend more time growing your YouTube channel and your Instagram following. You're gonna have to make money some other kind of way if you've reached the point you can't even beat Mario.
Pack it up, Buttercup. Whatever you were gonna do in boxing, you must have done it already.
Though I digress. I see Ryan winning the fight this weekend. How I see him doing it is one of those quick catch and counter left hooks that he's gonna rock Mario with. Mario is a characteristically aggressive fighter, not a guy you have to go out there and find. And he also presents a bigger than usual target for Ryan Garcia. You know, a lot of the times, Ryan is the big guy in the ring. He was bigger than Gervonta, somewhat bigger than Devin Haney, and bigger than a lot of the other guys that he's fought. Whereas Mario, he's bigger than them, but easier to hit.
Slower, less athletic, but easier to find. So I see Ryan rocking him. I see Ryan stopping him, and in effect becoming WBC champion, which is more than I thought he'd do in his career.